Good afternoon. Today is 21 May, the year 2014. I'm Dr. Dave Thompson, a volunteer at the Palm Springs Air Museum here in Palm Springs, California. As part of the Veterans History Project of the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., we conduct interviews of veterans and civilians who participated in our country's military conflicts, especially World War II. Today, I'm here at the museum along with fellow volunteer Daryl Peterson and special guest Adrian Aranda and Zorro. Hi, Zorro. And today we have the honor and the privilege of interviewing aviation cadet Elmer Tilma. Cadet Tilma was a flying cadet in the Army Air Corps in 1942, and after an injury was subsequently in communication for the duration of World War II. So we're going to talk to him about that and a lot of other things. Elmer, so good to have you here.
Thank you.
And you too, sir.
Sure.
Okay, boy, you good boy.
Okay, so what kind of airplanes did you fly in training? Do you remember?
The PT-13.
Mm-hmm.
It was at Tex Rankin Air Base in Tulare, California.
Okay, so
It
you moved from Arizona to California?
Yeah. And Tex Rankin was one of the world's acrobatic flyers. He'd fly upside down on one of those biplanes and pick up a hanky off the ground and then turn around and fly back.
Mm-hmm.
But he was world famous for the school that I went to in Tulare, California, was a primary flight training for the Air Force.
Okay.
And then
So
I
did you...
had the accident where I was flying, doing upside down barrel rolls and all the things, maneuvers that you do for fighter planes,
Mhm.
fighter pilots. You have to learn in primary flight training all those acrobatics. And while I was flying upside down, the case that houses the engine in the frame, there's two books that they have. They're about that long, and it's an aluminum case. And one is anything you do to the engine is logged in there, and everything you do to the airframe is logged.
Right. Yeah.
And so that thing weighs about 20 pounds. Well, while I was doing a maneuver upside down, the box broke loose and hit me in the head right there in the middle. I still got a thing there. But anyhow, it knocked me out. I was completely unconscious. And the airspeed indicator, you're not supposed to exceed 4,000 RPM. When I came to, the noise was so loud, screaming from the engine, it was about to fly apart, that I woke up, being unconscious. And I came to, and I noticed it was at 8,500 RPM. It was going to explode any minute, and I pulled back the throttle, and I had the box in my hand, by my head. With my right hand, I held the box, and I brought it back to the air base, and I'm the first cadet that ever landed downwind. I was so confused when I got to the air base that I landed downwind, and all these planes had taken off, and my glider training saved my life.
Oh,
because
tell us, when did you get glider training?
Well, I got that before I went into the cadet part, the gliders.
So that was in your civilian life?
No, that was in northern Arizona.
No, I mean the glider training.
Yeah.
That was part of the Air Force training?
Yeah. It was a special branch of the Air Force.
Yeah.
The glider corps.
Okay. And was that at Luke or at Tulare?
No, that was at Hope College in Holland, Michigan. And we had a small training field there that was associated with the college. So you had to go to college and ground school, and then there was aircraft there. They trained you on gliders and how to cut the engine and find a landing spot and all that. But
this was before you went to Arizona then?
Yeah, before.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So you
Arizona
kind of
was
started
down
out
behind.
in Michigan, and then you went to Arizona, and then
Yeah.
you went to California.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I'm
Now
telling
I
you,
understand.
thank you, Daryl, for helping me. But,
You'll have to tell them how you signed up for glider training.
the what?
You'll have to tell them the story of signing up for glider training.
Okay.
How they were pointing you down the hall to the next table
Oh,
and the
yeah.
next
I
table.
tried to, my buddy and I from high school decided we'd join up. And so we went to the recruiting office for the Air Force. And my partner, my buddy, a lifetime buddy, a Greek student, and I went to the first guy and we took the test and my partner failed. And I passed. It was amazing. He's 10 times more brilliant than I was at school, and so he failed. And the guy said, "What's wrong with?" I asked him what was wrong. He said, "I'm colorblind." He said, "I can't believe it. I'm colorblind." But he said, "I can see a red light, a green light," and he said, he said, "You know what they are. You know they expect a red light and green light and that." But he says, when you got the red light in between a bunch of green ones and they spell out something, you can't see it. And that's true.
Mhm.
And so I went with him to the gliders. God, I'm losing my
No,
train of
go
thought.
ahead. That's
But,
fine.
So
So,
since he didn't pass, you
Oh,
guys decided
oh.
you wanted to stay together.
Yeah, so then we went, I asked him, how can he get in the Air Force, flying? And he said, well, go down to that last desk down there. He said, they don't give a damn if you're blind. And he said, and we went down there and they signed us up and he failed that too.
oh boy.
And so I had I didn't have my buddy with me
Oh.
right then. He failed all the tests. But,
So what?
then I stayed in the gliders first and went through the entire training program. And what they do is you cut the engine, the instructor cuts the engine, and you're supposed to find a field where you can land at.
Okay.
Well, that's what saved my life when I was at Tex Rankin Field, coming in with half unconscious, half stupid, don't know nothing what's going on,
Yeah.
except I got to get the plane down. Well, when I came in, I made the entrance the right way, but instead of going around and coming around to where the wind was in my direction, I made the entrance right where everybody was taking off, and come in around 500 feet, and then made a left turn, and I saw what happened. The planes were coming at me, and I was landing downwind. So I made a left turn while I was in the air, at about 200 feet, something like that. And all those planes that do that always roll up and they destroyed. And so I kept gunning the engine, flying, waiting for the airdrop, and every time it would start to roll over or to get the wind caught, I would turn into the wind and give it more air pressure, throttle, and I kept doing that till I got the thing grounded.
Good.
And all the pilots came out running to give me, because I did something that was impossible to do. And my instructor told everybody to shut up. He brought the plane down. He's alive, and they were all trying to hassle me for landing a plane. But that's one of the first planes that they ever had that landed downwind, and it was a glider pilot that did it.
Yeah. Well, they probably didn't recognize that you were hurt.
Well, no, my instructor, I asked him, how he saw the blood was all over my face, and he said, you got a cut on your head. Well, when I handed him the box, I could see the rivets were freshly pulled out, they usually put a washer under the rear and then it gives it more support. But they didn't do that. And so I handed them the box. They took it, and he looked at my blood and everything. I said, well, how? He said, do you want to go to the hospital? And I said, well, how bad is it? He said, oh, it's not bad. So, you know, the damn guy, here I'm almost bleeding, handed him a box, and they never recorded it. Nothing except that I landed downwind. So then they sent me to Selfridge Field to wait for discharge in Michigan.
And that's where